Hi everyone, Jasmine here from LVL UP Consulting with this week's edition of What I Learned in Business last week. So the first lesson was, I guess, more of an epiphany. It was there is just so much out of our control when we're working on projects or client work that there really only is two things that we can control within our sphere of influence. The first one is the quality of our work. The effort we put in, should equal the output. And the second thing are our emotions and how we react to certain situations. So the reason why this came up for me last week is that I was working in a project and it became really apparent that the team we were working with, they just weren't delivering the quality that we needed. They were a vendor that we were working with, a fantastic vendor that we have a great relationship with. The quality had slipped and it resulted in a whole heap of rework for our team. And it really made me sort of reflect and realize that the effort I put in not only impacts myself, but everybody around me who's working with me. And we felt the other side of that this week in business. Of course, the other part that is in your sphere of influence is how you react to things and your emotions. So if you do have conflict, which I talked about last week, or you're experiencing the impacts of slipped quality and you're left to pick up the slack, have a think about how you react to that and what is the best, most positive way forward, because there's a time to pull the grumpy face and there's a time to be really proactive, which is actually what I mentioned last week as well. The second thing I learned in business last week was a little bit of an insight into global buying trends and what the movements have been over the last, I think it was 50 or 60 years. And the period that we are well in right now is consumers are really focused on the who. So years before us, generations before us, people were worried about the how do things work, the what is this product, what do I need it in my house, the why does it matter to me, but we are now in a stage of the who. And this is why you are seeing videos like this, people, being the face of their brands, showing up, going to events. People really want to connect with other people. And this isn't new news, but to see it in science and on paper, I was like, yep, that is a lesson I need to share with everyone this week. So don't be afraid. This is why social media is taking off. Be your authentic self, and people will connect with you on a much quicker level than they used to years ago. So give it a go. And the last thing I learned in business last week, again, a real light bulb moment for me, that was when you're in business, or even if you're in a project, measure your lead metrics versus your lag measures. What do I mean? So when you're in business, we're really focused on the outcomes. What was your revenue? How many sales did you make? Did the project hit the schedule? Yes, they're all good, but they're all outputs. If you focus at the end, how do you know if you're doing the right things, way up the pipeline? So my team and I, we actually sat down and we figured out what are our lead measures of success that result in all of that good outputs, such as revenue. And of course, not weirdly, one of the things that came up was quality of our work, because good quality work equals more work. Great relationships with stakeholders, which is a lead measure and something you can control, equals more work. So that's my top tip for this week. Please have a sit, have a think about what are the lead measures in your business. And these are things that you can control. The outcomes you can't always, but what are things you can control? Are you showing up online? Are you reaching out proactively? Are you checking in with your key stakeholders to make sure they're happy with the quality of your work or the way you're communicating? You can check in with these at regular intervals and their lead measures. And our team, because we're a little bit competitive, big Queenslanders, we've got a scoring system about that as well. So we're going to track and check in with each other weekly and hopefully have a bit of a competitive streak as to who's nailing the lead measures every week. They're my tips for this week. I look forward to sharing with you what I learnt in business next week. I'll see you then.